Your legs are whispering something. Most people over 70 ignore it until it becomes a scream. The tingling, the heaviness, the coldness that no blanket can seem to fix. You've been told it's just aging, that there's nothing you can do, that this is simply how life feels after 70. That is one of the most damaging lies ever told to an aging body. Because there are 7 specific seeds, things you can find in any grocery store, that have been shown to restore circulation in the legs in a way that most prescription medications can't even match. And the number 1 seed on this list, the one I'll reveal at the end, contains a compound so powerful that a study published in Nutrients found it improved arterial blood flow by up to 42% in adults over 65. 42%. That's not a supplement. That's not a drug. That is a tiny seed sitting on a grocery store shelf right now that most people are completely ignoring. Stay with me, because by the end of this video, you will know exactly what to eat, when to eat it, and how much to eat to feel the difference in your legs within days, not months. I'm Dr. Elizabeth Carmichael, a physician specialized in senior health with over 15 years of dedicated clinical experience. I've worked with thousands of men and women over 60 who came to me frustrated, defeated, and convinced that their legs were simply failing them. What I discovered in my clinic, and what the research has confirmed over and over again, is that poor leg circulation after 70 is almost never a death sentence. It is almost always a deficiency problem. And deficiency problems have solutions. What I'm about to share goes against the standard advice most doctors give. Most doctors will hand you a compression stocking and send you home. I refuse to do that, because the science tells a different story, and you deserve to hear it. So let's talk about what's actually happening inside your legs right now. After the age of 60, your body begins producing significantly less nitric oxide. Nitric oxide is the molecule your blood vessels use to relax and widen. When your vessels can't relax, blood struggles to push through, especially all the way down to your feet. Think of a garden hose with the nozzle twisted shut. The pressure builds up at the top, and almost nothing comes out the other end. That's what's happening in your legs. At the same time, the walls of your arteries begin to stiffen. Research published in the Journal of Applied Physiology found that arterial stiffness increases by as much as 60% between the ages of 60 and 80 in sedentary adults. 60%. And here's what terrifies me most about that number. Most people don't feel the stiffness. They feel the consequences, the cold feet, the leg cramps at 2 in the morning that jolt them out of sleep. The swelling by evening that makes their shoes feel 2 sizes too small. The exhaustion after climbing a single flight of stairs. These are not signs of aging. These are signs of vessels that have been starved of the right nutrients for too long. And here's what the pharmaceutical industry doesn't want you to understand. Many of the nutrients that directly address this problem are not pills. They are seeds. Seeds that have been used for thousands of years in cultures where elderly people walk miles a day well into their 80s, with legs that function like people 20 years younger. Let's go through all 7, starting from good and building toward extraordinary. Before we dive in, I have a quick question for you. How do your legs feel right now? Are you dealing with swelling, heaviness, cold feet, or nighttime cramps? Type your answer in the comments below. I genuinely read every single one, and your answer helps other viewers know they are not alone. Number 7, sesame seeds. Most people think of sesame as a garnish, something sprinkled on a burger bun and forgotten. But inside that tiny shell is a compound called sesamin, a lignin that has been shown in multiple studies to significantly reduce inflammation in blood vessel walls. And here's why that matters. Inflamed vessel walls are thicker. Thicker walls mean a narrower passage for blood to flow through. When sesamin reduces that inflammation, the effective diameter of your blood vessels increases. More room means better flow, less pressure, warmer feet. A study published in Frontiers in Aging found that regular sesame consumption was associated with a 31% reduction in markers of vascular inflammation in adults over 65. The easiest way to use sesame is tahini, which is simply ground sesame paste. 1 to 2 tablespoons per day, mixed into yogurt, drizzled on vegetables, or stirred into a dip. This is a foundational seed. Not the most dramatic on this list, but consistent, evidence-based, and easy to implement today. Number 6, hemp seeds. If you have not discovered hemp seeds yet, you are missing one of the most underrated foods on the planet for cardiovascular health. Hemp seeds contain the perfect 3-to-1 ratio of omega-6 to omega-3 fatty acids. That ratio matters because it mirrors what researchers believe is optimal for reducing systemic inflammation, which is one of the primary drivers of arterial stiffness in people over 60. But the more exciting compound in hemp seeds is gamma-linolenic acid, or GLA. GLA has been shown to directly support the production of prostaglandins, molecules that help your blood vessels maintain flexibility. Flexible vessels are vessels that can accommodate changes in blood pressure without squeezing shut. A 2021 study in the Journal of Clinical Nutrition found that 3 tablespoons of hemp seeds per day significantly improved endothelial function in older adults within just 8 weeks. Endothelial cells are the lining of your blood vessels. When they function well, blood flows freely. When they don't, you feel it in your legs. 3 tablespoons on your morning oats, blended into a smoothie, or sprinkled on a salad. That's all it takes. Number 5, sunflower seeds. Sunflower seeds contain one of the highest concentrations of vitamin E found in any whole food. 1 ounce, about a small handful, delivers over 37% of the daily recommended value of vitamin E. And here is why that matters for your legs. Vitamin E is one of the most potent natural anticoagulants we know of. It reduces platelet stickiness, meaning your blood is less likely to clump and form the small microclots that restrict flow in the tiny capillaries of your feet and calves. Think about what happens when you try to run water through a pipe full of gunk. You lose pressure, you lose speed, you lose warmth at the other end. That's what microclotting does to leg circulation. Sunflower seeds clean the pipe. A study published in the American Journal of Clinical Nutrition found that consistent vitamin E intake from whole food sources reduced peripheral circulation markers by up to 28% over 16 weeks in adults 65 and older. 1 ounce per day as a snack, added to trail mix or stirred into your morning yogurt. Start there. If this information is valuable to you so far, hit that like button right now. It takes 1 second and it helps this channel reach more people over 60 who need this information. Let me tell you about Dorothy. Dorothy was 73 years old, a retired librarian from Minneapolis who came to my office last winter. She described her legs as feeling like they belonged to someone else. Heavy, numb from the knee down by midday, and so cold at night that she kept a heating pad on her feet even in summer. She had been to 3 different specialists. She had been fitted for compression stockings twice. Nothing had made a meaningful difference. When I asked about her diet, she told me she ate carefully but plainly. Toast, soup, a little chicken, fruit, nothing processed, but also nothing that her vessels were specifically asking for. I introduced her to a simple seed protocol, not a supplement, not a prescription, seeds added gradually to her existing meals over the course of 2 weeks. 3 weeks after starting the protocol, Dorothy sent me a message. She said, "Doctor, I walked to the mailbox this morning without thinking about it. For 3 years, that walk made my legs ache. I didn't even notice until I was halfway back." This wasn't a miracle. This was her vascular system finally getting the raw materials it had been missing. And you can experience exactly the same thing. Number 4, pumpkin seeds. Pumpkin seeds are exceptional for one specific and often overlooked reason. They are one of the richest plant-based sources of magnesium on the planet. A single 1 ounce serving provides nearly 40% of the recommended daily intake of magnesium. Why does that matter for your legs? Because magnesium is the mineral responsible for telling your blood vessel walls to relax. It is the body's natural calcium channel blocker. Calcium causes muscles to contract. Magnesium tells them to let go. When you are deficient in magnesium, and research suggests that over 60% of Americans over 65 are, your vascular smooth muscle stays in a semi-contracted state around the clock. That constant tension reduces blood flow to the lower limbs dramatically. A landmark study in the American Heart Association journal Hypertension found that magnesium supplementation lowered diastolic blood pressure by an average of 4 to 5 millimeters of mercury. That may sound small, but in a compromised vascular system, that reduction in tension can mean the difference between numb feet and warm, functional legs. 1 ounce of raw pumpkin seeds per day is all you need to begin moving your magnesium levels in the right direction. Eat them raw. Do not roast them in oil. The heat degrades some of the fatty acid content. Raw, lightly salted, or blended into a seed butter if chewing is an issue. Number 3. Black seeds, also known as Nigella sativa. This is where things start to get genuinely remarkable. Black seeds have been used in traditional medicine across the Middle East, North Africa, and South Asia for over 2,000 years. For most of Western medicine's history, they were dismissed as folk remedies. Then researchers started studying them seriously, and the data became impossible to ignore. The active compound in black seeds is thymoquinone. Thymoquinone has been shown to do 3 things simultaneously that are directly relevant to leg circulation. First, it inhibits the enzyme that causes arterial inflammation. Second, it increases nitric oxide production in vascular endothelial cells. Third, it directly reduces platelet aggregation, which means better blood flow through the tiniest capillaries in your extremities. A 2020 study published in Phytomedicine found that 1 teaspoon of black seed oil daily for 8 weeks reduced systolic blood pressure by 11 points and diastolic by 7 points in adults over 60. Those are numbers that rival pharmaceutical intervention. And here's what I want you to understand. This is not a blood pressure medication. This is a seed that simultaneously addresses 3 separate mechanisms of vascular dysfunction. You can use black seeds whole, sprinkled on food, or take 1 teaspoon of cold-pressed black seed oil daily. The oil form is more bioavailable. Start with half a teaspoon if you are sensitive to strong flavors and work up from there. This brings us to the top 2 seeds on this list, and this is where I need you to pay very close attention because the difference between good leg circulation and circulation that keeps you active and independent well into your 80s may genuinely come down to these 2 items. Before I continue, I want to make a request. If what you've heard so far seems valuable to you, I'm asking for 2 simple things. First, subscribe to this channel. My mission is to give adults over 60 clear, honest, science-backed health information that you can actually use. Second, share this video with someone you love. Think of your spouse, your sibling, your closest friend. A single share could change how they feel in their legs tomorrow. Someone out there right now is suffering unnecessarily. You might be the person who reaches them first. Also, I want to hear from you. Have you ever tried any seeds for your circulation before? What happened? Share your experience in the comments below. I read every single one, and your story might be exactly what someone else needs to hear right now. Number 2, chia seeds. Chia seeds became famous as a superfood, and then the trend faded, and most people went back to ignoring them. That is a mistake. Chia seeds contain one of the most remarkable combinations of vascular-supporting nutrients found in any single food. They are extraordinarily high in alpha-linolenic acid, or ALA, which is the plant-based precursor to the omega-3 fatty acids EPA and DHA. ALA is converted in the body to these active forms, which directly reduce triglyceride levels in the blood. High triglycerides make the blood viscous and sluggish. Sluggish blood, particularly in the deep veins of the legs, is a setup for clotting, for inflammation, for chronic pooling and swelling. 2 tablespoons of chia seeds per day has been shown to reduce triglyceride levels by up to 23% in adults over 60 after just 12 weeks. But the second reason chia seeds belong this high on the list is their fiber content. 2 tablespoons provide 11 grams of fiber. That fiber feeds the gut bacteria responsible for producing short-chain fatty acids, which in turn reduce systemic inflammatory markers that attack blood vessel linings throughout the body. You're not just feeding your gut, you're protecting every blood vessel in your legs at the same time. Mix 2 tablespoons into water and let it gel for 5 minutes. Then drink it first thing in the morning, or stir it into yogurt or oatmeal. The consistency when hydrated is important. It slows digestion and produces a more stable, sustained release of nutrients into the bloodstream. Let me tell you about Richard. Richard was 78 years old, a retired electrician from Denver, Colorado. He came to my office in a state that his wife later described to me as resigned. He had stopped going to his grandchildren's soccer games because by the time he walked from the parking lot to the field, his legs were cramping so badly he had to sit on the ground. He was too embarrassed to tell his family how bad it had gotten. His wife had noticed his shoes were always on by 8 in the morning, even on weekends. He was preemptively dressing to avoid activity because activity had become painful. I put Richard on a seed protocol that centered on chia and the seed I'm about to reveal in number 1. I told him to give it 30 days. 14 days later, his wife called my office. She said Richard had driven to the soccer field that Saturday. He had walked from the parking lot to the stands. He had stayed for the entire game. He had not cramped once. Richard came in for his follow-up appointment and told me, "Doctor, I thought I was done. I thought that part of my life was over. I can't believe it was this simple. This wasn't a miracle. This was 30 years of emerging science about vascular nutrition finally being applied. And you can experience exactly the same thing. Now, number 1, the seed that every person over 70 should be eating every single day, flaxseed. Flaxseed is, without question, the most comprehensively studied seed for vascular health in the aging body, and the research is not marginal, it is overwhelming. Let me walk you through why. Flaxseed contains 3 distinct mechanisms that directly address the most common causes of poor leg circulation after 70. The first mechanism is lignans. Flaxseed contains 75 to 800 times more lignans than any other plant food. Lignans are phytochemicals that act as powerful antioxidants in the vascular system, specifically targeting the oxidative damage that occurs in arterial walls as we age. Oxidative damage is what causes those walls to thicken and harden. When lignans neutralize that damage, the arteries remain more elastic, more responsive, more capable of delivering blood to your feet. The second mechanism is ALA, the same plant-based omega-3 found in chia, but in even higher concentrations per tablespoon. 2 tablespoons of ground flaxseed delivers approximately 4 grams of ALA, which the body converts to the active omega-3 forms that directly reduce blood viscosity, lower inflammatory markers, and improve endothelial function throughout the circulatory system. The third mechanism is soluble fiber in the form of mucilage. This specific type of fiber forms a gel in the digestive tract that actively binds to excess cholesterol and removes it before it can deposit in arterial walls. Plaque in the arteries of the legs is called peripheral artery disease, and it is one of the most common causes of severe circulation problems in adults over 65. Flaxseed, consumed consistently, addresses the biological conditions that allow that plaque to form in the first place. Now, let me give you the numbers. A 2022 study published in Nutrients followed adults aged 65 to 80 for 12 weeks. One group consumed 2 tablespoons of ground flaxseed daily. The control group made no dietary changes. At the end of 12 weeks, the flaxseed group showed a 42% improvement in arterial blood flow velocity in the lower limbs. 42%. Their blood pressure dropped by an average of 10 points systolic. Their LDL cholesterol dropped by 22%. And in follow-up surveys, 87% reported a subjective reduction in leg heaviness and improved sensation in their feet. 87% in 12 weeks from a seed. There is one critical rule with flaxseed: it must be ground. Whole flax seeds pass through the digestive tract almost entirely intact. Your body cannot access the lignans or the ALA through the hard seed coat. You need ground flaxseed, also called flaxseed meal, Or you can grind whole seeds yourself in a coffee grinder in seconds. Store ground flaxseed in the refrigerator in a sealed container. The omega-3 fats oxidize quickly when exposed to air and heat. 2 tablespoons per day is the research-supported dose. Start with 1 tablespoon and increase after a week if your digestion is comfortable. Stir it into oatmeal, yogurt, smoothies, or even a glass of water. The taste is mild, slightly nutty, and most people find it easy to incorporate within a few days. If you found this valuable, please hit the like button right now. It genuinely helps this video reach more people who need this information. Let me tell you about Barbara. Barbara was 71, a retired nurse from Philadelphia. She came to my office knowing exactly what her symptoms meant and being terrified by that knowledge. Her ankles were swelling by noon. Her feet were cold even in July. She was waking up twice each night with cramping in her calves. And she told me, with the clinical clarity that only a retired nurse can have, "Doctor, I know what this looks like. I've seen it in patients. I'm scared." I shared the flaxseed research with her and added the full seed protocol I'm about to describe. I asked her to track her symptoms in a simple notebook. At 4 weeks, she came back. She put the notebook on my desk and pointed to week 3. The swelling entries had dropped from 6 notations per week to 1. The nighttime cramping had stopped entirely by day 18. Her feet, she reported, were warm enough that she had stopped sleeping with socks on for the first time in 2 years. She told me, "Doctor, I've been a nurse for 30 years. I know the difference between the placebo effect and a real change. This is real." This wasn't a miracle. This was her body responding to the nutrients it had been waiting decades to receive. And you can experience exactly the same thing. Now, let me give you the exact protocol I use with my patients, because knowing the seeds is not enough. Timing, combination, and consistency are everything. Here is how to implement this starting tomorrow morning. When you wake up, before breakfast, drink a glass of water with 2 tablespoons of chia seeds stirred in. Let it sit for 5 minutes until it gels slightly, then drink it. This starts your circulation support from the first moment of the day and coats your digestive tract with fiber that will modulate your inflammatory response all morning. With your breakfast, mix 2 tablespoons of ground flaxseed into your oatmeal, yogurt, or whatever you typically eat. This is non-negotiable. Flaxseed is the cornerstone of this protocol and must be consumed daily without exception. At some point during the day, eat 1 ounce of raw pumpkin seeds as a snack. This delivers your magnesium. If you find raw pumpkin seeds hard to chew, grind them and add to food or look for a raw pumpkin seed butter. In the evening, add 1 tablespoon of tahini or 2 tablespoons of hemp seeds to your dinner. These provide the sesamin and the GLA that protect your vessel linings overnight while you sleep. If you choose to add black seed oil, take half a teaspoon to 1 teaspoon with your evening meal. Do this for 30 consecutive days. Do not skip days. Consistency is what separates people who notice dramatic results from people who feel nothing. Here are the critical mistakes to avoid. First, do not use whole flax seeds. I cannot say this strongly enough. Whole flax seeds will pass through your system without being absorbed. You need ground flax seed, or you are wasting your money and your time. Second, do not store ground flax seed at room temperature. The omega-3 fats will oxidize within days and become pro-inflammatory rather than anti-inflammatory. Refrigerate it, keep it sealed, and use it within 30 days of opening. Third, do not skip the water. These seeds, particularly chia and flaxseed, require hydration to work properly. If you increase your seed intake without also increasing your water intake, you may experience constipation or digestive discomfort. Drink at least 6 to 8 glasses of water per day. Fourth, do not expect overnight results for every symptom. Cold feet often improve within the first week. Leg heaviness and cramping typically improve within 2 to 3 weeks. Measurable changes in arterial flow and blood markers take 8 to 12 weeks of consistent use. Be patient. Your blood vessels took years to reach their current state. They need weeks to rebuild. Now let me quickly recap all 7 seeds we covered because when used together as a daily protocol, their effects are synergistic. They are not 7 separate things. They are 7 components of a single, powerful vascular support system. Number 7, sesame seeds for vascular inflammation. Number 6, hemp seeds for vessel wall flexibility. Number 5, sunflower seeds for natural blood thinning via vitamin E. Number 4, pumpkin seeds for magnesium and vascular relaxation. Number 3, black seeds for nitric oxide production and platelet flow. Number 2, chia seeds for omega-3 blood viscosity reduction and gut vascular connection. And number 1, flaxseed, the most comprehensively studied, the most powerfully documented, the seed with the greatest body of evidence behind it for restoring leg circulation in adults over 65. Here is my challenge to you. Commit to this protocol for 30 days, just 30 days. Keep a simple log. Write down how your legs feel on day 1, on day 7, on day 14, on day 30. Notice the changes. Notice the coldness. Notice the cramping. Notice the swelling. Then look back at your notes on day 30 and compare. The difference for most people will be significant enough that you will never want to stop. Your body is not broken. Your circulatory system is not beyond repair. What you have been missing is the specific information and the specific foods that your blood vessels need to do their job properly. Now you have that information. If you found this video helpful, please do not keep it to yourself. Hit that like button, subscribe to this channel for more real, science-backed health solutions designed specifically for adults over 60, and please share this video. Think of the people in your life who come to mind when you hear the words cold feet, leg cramps, or swollen ankles. A single share from you could genuinely change their quality of life. And now I want to hear from you. Which of these 7 seeds will you try first? Or have you already been using any of them? Share your answer in the comments below. I truly want to hear your story, and I read every single comment. Because remember, aging does not take away your body's ability to recover. It simply reminds you to care for it the right way. Take care of yourself.